Hi, welcome to another episode of the Becker County Master Gardener's Rambling Rose. Today I'd like to show you about container gardening. I got a lovely gift from a co-worker, and I thought I would show you what to look for in a plant if you were to purchase one. This one, as you can see from the bottom, is a little bit of pot bound. The roots are just starting to come out of the back. So it's one that still looks healthy. The leaves are a little bit yellow, which kind of tells me the water sits on the bottom on those roots that are root bound. But after we transplant, we'll cut those puppies off, and this one will do quite nicely in the container. I also have some plants here I was going to plant. These are my black-eyed Susans that we started from seeds, and I know if you watched earlier you saw that you can use a wonderful little tomato container to grow those in. These two are starting to get a little roots on the bottom, but not so bad, so they should plant well. One tip is I didn't water them this morning, so it's nice and dry, and it definitely will come out of the container easier. If it's really wet, then you'll get roots and it'll get a little more shock. So this way you will water them once they get in the container, and it'll be a Vunda. And here's another one we started in this pot, and I'm just going to plant this whole pot just like that. So I'll give you 3 different ways of planting it. And I'm going to do it in this container. I'm going to amend the soil. I got regular potting soil. I'm going to add a little bit of compost. Going to add a little peat. Peat's a nice mixture. It adds nutrients, plus it holds the soil in. So on containers you want to look for things that hold the soil in as much as you can. So that should be good. And I decided I'm going to put this on my patio, so you got to decide where you're going to put it. So Black-eyed Susan and Morning Glories will grow up, and I have a nice spot for them to grow up when I move this. And this will grow kind of big. It'll get fairly good size. So kind of think about what the plant's going to look like at its adult. Even though I'm planting all annuals, so I can put a little more in actually because they are annuals. If they get a little root bound at the bottom, they're done at the end of the season, so we're good to go. But I'm going to show you here this one, since this one's going to be the most important guy. I'm going to dig a nice little hole. Gloves are a wonderful thing. And we will gently grab the stem, or put your thumb, I don't know if you can see right in there, just gently, so when you turn it upside down, you've got your hands on the pot. And actually this isn't as root bound as I thought, so it looks really good. I'm going to take my finger and loosen that up. Basically what you want to do is the roots to go out and about once they get in the soil. If you plant something that's root bound, you definitely want to loosen up the roots, otherwise they start growing and they sometimes will choke themselves. So loosen them up, get them ready to go in the pot. You'll set that baby in there, and we'll put the dirt all around. We'll push it down just a little bit, and like I mentioned before, I'm going to go ahead and cut these yellow leaves off because they're not going to do me any good for photosynthesis and nutrient development. So we'll get rid of those, and in case they are a fungi or anything, I will probably clean my scissors and I will throw those away so I don't spread that anymore. This one real quick, we're just going to put this whole thing in. It's made out of cardboard, so it will just compost itself right into the container. And then this guy, same thing. I'm going to reach in there, and you can see the roots, but it's dry, so they'll stay in place. Dig a little hole, dig a hole that those won't get smushed in, and then move that soil in around it. Push down, and we got these other two. I'll grab them real quick. And then all we got to do is give it some water, put it in a nice sunny location, and I will have black-eyed Susans before you know it. And then the Morning Glories will bloom much later, and most of you know geraniums will bloom all summer long. Awesome! So let me get some water here, and what I like to do is water it nice and thorough, because occasionally it will, well, occasionally, every time, the soil will condense quite a bit. So you want to water quite thoroughly. Make sure you get more soil in there if you need it. And then, there we go. Whoop, there we go. And then I will add actually a little more compost on the top because it's just so much nutrients for my plants. And then the next step would be to grab some mulch, which we'll talk about in another episode. You always want to mulch your container plants. It holds the moisture in, keeps your plants healthy all summer long. So I hope this helps, and happy container planting.